Hello, I'm Jeff Salkin. Welcome to Your Money and Business. We begin tonight with a squeeze on many technology budgets. Joining us is Chris Knotts, Chief Technology Officer for Force 3. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Are technology budgets always tight in business or the federal sector?
It seems that way for certain aspects, certainly. You have, within the business community, the desire to focus really on what's core for the business. And that's not always IT. So that is one area of pressure to which CEOs are asking their organizations to do more, maybe with less IT dollars or a different type of IT dollar. And in the federal space, the needs are growing in terms of what organizations and agencies want to do with their networks. And that typically means a greater spend. The budgets aren't always there to do that. So we feel pressure to do more with the infrastructure that's in place.
Can you get more out of that infrastructure than you used to be able to back in the day? Does the hardware either physically last longer, or do the capabilities maybe last longer?
Yeah, you can. You know, there's Moore's Law, which states that basically the power of technology doubles every 18 months. Which is...
And that was processor speed, right?
It was processor
Moore was
speed.
At Intel.
Absolutely.
Right.
The number of transistors on a processor.
Right.
But that has actually followed through to the computing power of our servers and storage capacity of networks. The applications haven't been able to really keep up with that power. But the hardware, in many cases, can do more than what today's applications necessarily require.
So that's interesting. So is it true maybe that there was a time, a decade or two ago, when the applications were racing ahead and you needed the latest hardware to run it?
Yeah, there are some applications that still do require the latest hardware. So if you're video intensive, they're very large file sizes. So there are still needs for that type of bleeding edge network technology. But for general office automation, for the types of things that you'd find in most day-to-day business environments or in the federal space, the technology that's in place can more than handle that type of need.
Talk about your company a little bit. You do a lot of systems integration, a lot of it in the federal space, some commercial, right?
Right. So Force 3 is a company based here in Maryland. We've been around for about 20 years. Mostly serving the federal marketplace, but also the healthcare space. We focus primarily on the network infrastructure and also the data center, so the servers and the storage that makes the network operate. We're closely partnered with a couple of different manufacturers like Cisco Systems, EMC, NetApp, and we are the engineers that take those solutions and make them reality for our customers.
So what have you learned about getting the most out of those solutions, being as cost effective as possible?
Well, the initial design is important. So making sure that you're designing the network for future growth is where it starts. But then once you've built the design to manage for future growth, it's about getting the most out of that infrastructure. So we see customers who typically would be in a 3-year refresh cycle for their network or their data center are extending that to 4 or 5 or 6 years. So that's actually changed some of our service offering to help customers get more out of what they've invested in already.
Has there been a change at all at how organizations see the IT department? Whether they want to have many of these functions internal or outsourced?
Yeah, certainly. And the smaller the business, the more tangible really that is. If you even look at today's mid-size and even some larger companies, having an IT function internal to the business may make sense for certain critical business applications, but for the network, for the infrastructure, even to have data centers may not make sense for some companies. So they're outsourcing that. They come to companies like Force 3 that has engineers that can support them, or even network infrastructure or data center infrastructure to host their applications within our environment, where we can do that for multiple customers simultaneously. Cost savings for them, but also gives them some economies of scale.
And the big question they're going to have, though, is what are the trade-offs? I mean, if there's somebody down the hall that we can yell at when there's a problem versus calling an outsourced organization that may be swamped with other stuff.
Yeah, and we see that as well. Usually what we can do is come up with a combination of folks that are on site that can work with end users who really just want to have somebody there to help them, or systems that need a touch, and the rest of the support can come from our remote engineers that may be in another area or another part of the state, or operate infrastructure that may be off-site.
Within the federal space, where you deal with some clients with security concerns, are there issues about where those off-site outsourced help desk folks are?
Yeah, that is an issue, and that's a growing concern. One of the services that we've recently launched is called Support Plus, and that specifically addresses that actually for federal customers. Many of the manufacturers, they're global organizations, even, again, some of our closest partners like Cisco have support that spans the globe and that follows the sun. So you may get a US-based support engineer during business hours. That person may be in another country during off hours. And if I'm running a 24/7 mission-critical federal agency or business, and I pick up the phone and I need support, then I'm going to get whoever that person is on the other end. So for our federal customers, having U.S. citizenship, in some cases having some type of security clearance, is a requirement. It has to be that way. So with our Support Plus offering, we're able to provide that network support, but all with U.S. citizens and many with security clearances.
What do you see these days when you go to hire? Deep talent pool? Are there areas where you'd like to see a stronger talent pool to choose from?
Yeah, but we would like to see a stronger talent pool to choose from that has the right mix of skills that we're looking for. And in some cases, we always need deep technical skills, but we also need the soft skills, the ability to think big picture or consultatively with a customer, to think about their business need and not just the technology need, not just the speeds and feeds, but also think about what they're trying to accomplish from a business standpoint. So having that mix of technical and business skills and customer interaction skills is something
You're
that we always
asking
look
for a lot here.
We ask for a lot, and we've done a pretty good job of finding those types of folks, but it does take a different approach to recruiting.
You also have to be happy to do some training, I would think.
Yes, and we invest in training fairly significantly at Force 3. One of the things we do is a series of academies, both for business development salespeople as well as engineers. And we look to local universities, also people that are in career transition. We typically hold an open house a couple times a year, where we may get 100 or more folks that show up that are interested in some type of opportunity where we're going to invest in them and help train them. And the return that we've seen from that has been significant. We get folks that understand how we want to do business, that we're able to train technically and train in the business aspects as well.
What's the market like for people with security clearances in this area? Is that tight still?
It's tight, certainly, especially for the higher level security clearances, which most of our customers either require that level or some level where it's you're probably not going to hire somebody and then get them the clearance. So we're competing for those cleared resources with all the other systems integrators that are in the market.
And in terms of when you guys post some jobs, what are the common buzzwords? What are the certifications or the types of equipment you're looking for competency?
Yeah, we're very network centric, so we're looking for Cisco specific certifications. We're also looking for other certifications that may be general, like Network Plus or Security Plus. Those are kind of the basic ones that we look for.
Very good. Chris Knotts of Force 3, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the time.